Welcome to Brandon's Bedtime Stories. This podcast was developed by me, Brandon Copeland, because I tell my kids bedtime stories every single night. And after 13 years of doing this almost every night, I'm running out of material. So I've decided that I'm going to start developing and recording my bedtime stories for my kids so that I can play them back to my children and so that other people can listen to these things. Because, I don't know, maybe they're kind of entertaining. Anyway. Once upon a time, there was a small worm. And this worm was crawling in the gutter like most worms do after a rainstorm. And he was just enjoying his nice walk in the water, slither in the water. When all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a giant hand reached down and picked him up. And he was taught as a child, when someone picks you up, when some giant hand grabs you, you coil up as tight as you can and get your slime on them. And then maybe it gets slippery and they drop you. That's how these worms save their lives. Well, this worm tried this. And he coiled up and slimed all over the hand. And the hand, sure enough, it dropped him. And he fell in the grass. Ugh! Hurt so bad. When he landed in the grass, there was an ant that came up and said, "Psst, hey, follow me. Otherwise you're going to get taken again." So the worm slithered deep into the grass and buried himself, following the ant. This ant was really different than most ants, though. It was pink, and this worm had never seen a pink ant. And he slithered down and followed the ant. He said, "Thank you so much for helping me get saved from the giant hand. I was afraid I was going to get taken and eaten or chopped up or used as bait or who knows what." "Oh, it's no problem," said the ant. I love helping people. That's what I do best. In fact, that's why I'm here. I've been ostracized from my colony because, one, I'm pink, which is kind of weird. No one likes a pink ant. All my friends are black. And two, I always help people. That's what ants do. They like to help. They work and work, and some of us like to help. So I like to call myself the pink helper ant. So I'm glad to be of your service, Mr. Worm. And the worm said, "Well, thank you very much." And just then a bird came and ate the pink ant, just right there. And the worm couldn't believe it. He was like, "What? No!" But the worm was also afraid because birds love worms. So he slithered away. But as he slithered, he crawled under a rock. He could stick his head out and he could see the bird. And suddenly, the bird started to shake and cough and squawk and spit and fluff its feathers. And then the bird fell over on its side, stone cold dead. And then the bird turned pink and sat up like nothing happened, looked around, and flew away. And that worm couldn't believe it. He went home and talked to his parents. He slithered back to his house. He said, "Mom, Dad, you wouldn't believe this. I found a pink ant, and he saved me from a hand, and he told me he's a helper ant, but that he was ostracized by his colony. And then a bird ate the ant right there in front of me and died like it ate the most poisonous thing you've ever seen. But then within like a minute, it sat back up, turned bright pink, and flew away." And the worm's mom and dad said, "Oh, that's a magic ant. And now that's a magic bird. And whatever eats the bird will also become magical. So if you ever see any sort of pink food, you eat it. Because pink food is magical. And it comes from those magic ants and birds and whatever other things eat those creatures. They gain magical powers." And that is the end of my story. All right, have a good night and have a good sleep.